Welcome, everybody, to the R&R CatCast, a fan-based podcast focusing on Montana State athletics. We're two dudes named Ryan from the state of Washington talking about our dear Montana State. We hope you enjoy. All right, welcome back, Bobcat fans. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the R&R CatCast. I'm one of your hosts, Ryan Foley. I'm joined with my good buddies, Ryan Thornburg and Zach Levere. We're a part of the R&R CatCast, the Montana State affiliate of the Big Sky Podcast Network. We're here to talk Cat Grizz, guys. It's championship week. We're going to get it all this week. How you guys doing?
Cat Grizz. I got to do it. I do it every year. It's kind of a thing.
Yep.
I'm stoked, man. I'm stoked. Coming off a huge Big Sky championship securing win on the road in Davis.
Woo!
Couldn't be better. Couldn't be happier.
Re-listening to our instant reaction episode, I feel so much better talking through that. I'm stoked, man. It's a Monday. We're here. We're talking. I think this is going to be an absolute goofy fun.
Are you
episode.
off the
I'm
edge?
Still pumped. I'm off the edge. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
All right.
Let's beat those Grizzlies.
I am glad Zach is off the edge because it was fun talking with you when you were on the edge. And so maybe we can poke the bear a little bit. But if I don't want to start the show without giving props to our sweet sponsor, Gear Up Sports. Gear Up Sports is a youth sports platform focusing on the uniform and apparel headache for coaches. If you're a youth or high school coach and need uniforms or player packs, please contact us at www.gearupwithus.com and make sure to mention us, the R&R CatCast. All right, guys. Yeah, this episode is just going to be all of us just talking Cat Grizz. It's going to go through the main format. We will cover UC Davis, the news, Vegans presser, all of that. But we're just going to riff, man. It's going to be fun. We got a lot to talk about.
Got a lot of golden coolies to get to as well.
Yeah, the questions are overfloweth.
Nice. I didn't know that. Not much on Bobcat Nation, but a lot on X, apparently.
There's a few, yeah.
Give it to you.
So,
They're going to give it to us.
all
Give us
right.
those questions.
All right, but first, let's talk about what's in our golden coolies.
Well, I got to find it.
What's in your golden cooler?
All right. Well, what's in your golden coolie is brought to you by Wilbur Ellis. Go see Shea Richter and Company up in Fort Benton for all of your farming and fertilizer needs. I got Zach to thank for this one. I'm drinking my last Bozone Select Amber Ale over here. Bozeman beer for the Bozeman game day. No brainer. Delicious. One of my favorite beers of all time.
Always a good one. I got the Jeremiah Johnson Blonde Ale, and the reason I chose it was because it has blue and gold, and I'm going with the blue and gold authentic. It's actually like perfect color with the coolie too. So, shout out to the Golden Triangle.
Is it true they no longer make the Golden Bobcat thing?
They don't. Jeremiah told us at the Big Sky tournament himself that like honey prices went up or something like that, and then they changed it to Big Sky Golden Ale since when they became the sponsor of the Big Sky.
So first they drop us, then they drop the Bobcat Golden Ale. Don't know what to tell you, Jeremiah Johnson.
Do better. You know how they say do good? Do better.
We don't. Hey, it doesn't bother us anymore. We can say whatever we want now.
If they do want to re-sponsor us, I will take the free beer. I do like the product.
We will be paid in beer. We will drink anybody's beer and talk about it.
That's a great chance. If you are attached to a brewery or know a brewery that wants to sponsor us, please, we would love free product.
Yeah, it's as simple as we'll drink it and talk about it.
I like it. I'll take free beer. I was in a beer quagmire. I went to the fridge and Zach brought us a ton of beer when he came over for Eastern, and I blew through my Bozeman stash, and now I'm looking at a Missoula beer, an IPA from. Well, it's not really Missoula. It's the Bitterroot. What was that beer you got me? Snow Church?
Or was it
No,
Snow Church?
Yeah, from.
How was that, by the way?
It's a hazy, juicy IPA, which is my least favorite types of IPA. So, but just the fact that it was a Missoula kind of ish beer, I was like, I can't pick it. I can't do it. And so I opted for the only other beer in my fridge, which was a Coors Light. So I'm drinking Coors Light on principle.
Now, do you have a Sierra Nevada lined up for after the game by any chance?
You know, I don't. It's on my to-do list. I did have a Sierra Nevada Pale Ale today. My son's basketball game, he had a practice, and I was like the only dad in there, in this crammed gym, and I was like, man, I don't want to watch these boys like do layup drills for an hour. So I snuck out. I said, Miles, I'm gonna be gone for an hour. I'll be in the parking lot, and then I was right in the
With a
Perry
flask.
district. Yeah,
Mhm.
not quite there, not quite there, but went down to
Kia time.
Yeah.
to a little restaurant and had a Sierra Nevada in my what I said to myself was, this is a celebration beer for being Davis, getting the Big Sky crown. So there you go.
Yeah.
I'll count it. And nothing wrong with Coors Light.
No,
So
it's
fine.
not.
You're
Yeah.
fine.
The good old
All
silver
right.
bullet.
So a couple things that happened this week. Taco Dollar was named Big Sky Player, Special Teams Player of the Week. That's a big honor. A 77-yard touchdown, which apparently, fellas, Rylan Ort spilled the beans on his interview today. There were only 10 Bobcats on the field when he made that play.
Oh, wow.
That fast.
It's even better.
Did not know that. That's a little special spice there for you.
I was
Yeah, I
worried he
thought
was going to get
that's not
caught
a
by the
penalty.
punter. I was worried he's going to get caught by the punter on that until he turned on the Jets. I was like, ooh, that guy's got an angle at him.
The punter's got wheels, man.
Yeah, he
Oh.
did. He was flying.
He's going to catch a lot of punt returners that aren't named Taco Dollar. Jeez.
Taco Dollar literally said in the post-game interview, he goes, I was laughing in my head during the moment. He was like, don't get caught by the punter, because he's been caught by the punter like 3 times this year. So that was pretty funny. That's the only news I know of. We'll get into all the stuff from Coach Vegan here in a split moment, but let's bump over to the stats, FCS top 25. Kind of status quo at the top. North Dakota State stays number 1. Montana State number 2. South Dakota State number 3. South Dakota number 4. Davis moves down a spot to number 5. Incarnate Word holds steady at number 6. Idaho moves up a spot to number 7. Mercer's number 8. Montana's number 9. And Richmond is number 10. So there's your top 10.
Did Mercer get punished for playing Alabama and moved from 5 to 8?
They were 7 last week.
They were
so
7. Okay, I thought they were 5 at some point. I was like, did they get punished for losing to Alabama?
They were up there when they were undefeated. They ended up losing
Okay.
to somebody else a few weeks ago.
in the Big Sky, then Northern Arizona bumped from 25 to 21. So those are your schools in the top 25 from the Big Sky Conference. I just think like Idaho, number 7, from what I've seen from Idaho is kind of shaky right now. And I thought
you were going to use another S word there for a second.
Yeah.
Family-friendly show here.
Yeah, family-friendly.
No, I talked to Mr. Krotzer today. Again, his son plays on the defensive line. He's like, no, I think we're trending in the right direction. He goes, Jack Lane was back. And he goes, you got to think that's his only 3rd game he's played this season. They squeaked one against Weber. I'm like, Weber's dog crap right now. So, I'm not impressed with Idaho, but they could get it going. Who knows? Whatever happens, they're still could get a seed.
Well, when wins matter and big wins matter, I mean, that's what, they're number 7 now. So it's a resume builder for us. We've beaten 2 top 7 teams and 1 on the road. I saw today that of the 4 teams in the top 4 that have played each other, we are the only ones with a win on the road, a top 4 win on the road now. So resume builder.
Now, doesn't North Dakota State have a chance to do that on Saturday?
They do.
So go.
But
Go Yotes. What are they? Yotes, thank you.
Yeah.
I was like, wait, what can I think of it?
I'm the biggest South Dakota fan.
Right? Same. Yeah, if South Dakota wins and we win, we got the number 1 seed.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yotes.
It's simple as that.
Simple as that. I don't think we have the number 1 seed if North Dakota State wins.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But that's all right. Number 2 seed ain't so bad. So quick tangent here. we were talking about I was texting with a friend. South Dakota State, if you're the number 2 seed, you might be on South Dakota State's side of the bracket.
Yeah.
But would you rather play them in Bozeman or Frisco?
Bozeman.
Bozeman.
Well, then we want to be on their side.
Yeah.
It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
Now, maybe they don't make it to Frisco if they're on the opposite side, but a chance at South Dakota State in Bozeman is kind of appealing.
I'd take that revenge factor.
Mhm.
They'd have to come back to back, I think, unless they have a week 0 or week 1 game. But they'd have to play in Bozeman 2 out of 3 weeks because they play us next year.
Yeah. Oh man, I don't want to
That'd
think
be
about next year
funny.
yet.
Yeah. I would love to see a rematch of Davis and us in Frisco. That would be really fun. A Big Sky National Championship. That'd be
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I saw if Davis. I think Davis is going to get the 4 seed. I'm pretty confident on that.
They're gonna mop sack.
I think they'll get. I think they'll get. Well, so here's the question though: if South Dakota wins and beats NDSU, we move to 1. NDSU would move to 2 or 3. Where do you put South Dakota and South Dakota State?
Yeah.
So
It's gonna be a log jam.
And Davis isn't losing to Sac. They're winning
No.
that game. So, I mean, that's a great win. But Land Larson in a dome in Frisco could be dangerous. And if that's a semifinal game, I would not count Davis out.
No.
What do you mean a dome in Frisco? In
The
Fargo?
Fargo Dome, or
Fargo.
Fargo Dome. Sorry.
Gotcha. Do you not think that Montana State can get if we go 12-0, we can't get the number 1 seed even if North Dakota State wins? I think
Correct.
that's on the table, man.
Okay.
Absolutely on the table.
Yes.
It's not. It wouldn't be like unheard of or surprising if we got the 1 seed. I just don't see it happening.
Who's the committee chair?
I don't know.
The FCS. It's the North Dakota State athletic director. Is the head of the selection committee.
I don't know. I'm just still bitter about the season that we lost to Oregon State and ended up with a 4 seed.
Yeah, literally, that's the same thing that NDSU has done.
Yeah.
Yep.
And Colorado is basically Oregon State circa 2022, because I think Oregon
roughly.
State finished that season 10.
Yeah. It was.
What's
lost
their
by a
best
lot.
win
Yeah.
beating?
We lost by a lot more though.
The Dakota Marker School, or their best win is against the Jacks, right? But they also almost lost, like miraculously pulled one out against Eastern Tennessee State. Weird, man. I don't know. I think Montana State goes number. I think we win this weekend, and then we get the 1 seed. We deserve the 1 seed.
I wouldn't be stunned, and I believe you're rightfully. I think we deserve it.
We didn't help ourselves out by squeaking out a 2-point win over Davis, and North Dakota State demolished Missouri State.
Well,
yeah, but
okay.
Missouri State is frauds.
Yeah, but they're top 25 win.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to call
Do
it.
they count as a top 25 win since they're a coaches poll and they're not technically a team?
I don't know.
Who cares?
But style points is how we were going to get there.
Yeah.
That's what we talked about last week, and I don't know if we got any style points.
Yep.
All right. We will continue this conversation. We got to get through a little bit before we just, go everywhere on this. Let's talk about what Coach Vegan was wearing.
And now, Bobcat fans, it's time for F&F Fashion Watch, brought to you by Foley and Fisher, the only two that seem to really care what Brent Vegan is wearing at his press conference.
Thank you, Russell. Coach Vegan wore a navy and heathered gray plaid suit, a white press shirt, and a lighter blue on blue crosshatch tie. No pocket square, no baloney.
No pocket square, no baloney. Is it becoming a depressing trend around here? Come on, Vegan. Maybe he's saving it for Frisco.
Last year's thing was obviously the 2 chilies. This year is pocket square and bologna, and I gotta say, chili was way more fun last year.
Yeah, chili was
I
pretty
thought so.
When I
Better
remember the
conversation.
seasons, I'll go the chili season, and then I'll think about the pocket square bologna undefeated team season.
Yeah, it really just depends what happens at the end of the season. Which one was better?
Yeah. The chili season sucked. It was rotten chili.
Hey, Zach, question. I want your take on this. Would you have let Sean Chambers just cooked the whole year.
Last year,
Yeah.
I thought he was the better quarterback after Weber, and I thought Tommy does a lot, and it's hard. Hindsight's 2020, and it's hard to say that because this year I think Tommy's played out of his mind and his play looked awesome. But if I think about 2023 Tommy and what Chambers was bringing to the offense, I would have probably gone with Chambers.
Yeah, that's where I was at.
I thought he was more suited quarterback wise. I thought Tommy could have still been on the field, and there's a lot of things you can do with Tommy. I mean, he's fast. You can put him in a Taco Dollar spot and stuff like that. It was weird, man.
All right. Some highlights from Coach Vegan's presser. We'll sprinkle them in as they come up in conversations. He led off saying we played really well for 3.5 quarters, and I thought that was pretty true. He called it significant. McKade O'Reilly's interception on the 2-point conversion and fielding the onside kick. He fielded a lot of questions about the Cat Grizz. He goes, it counts as one, but it does mean more. He spent some time talking about his perception of the Cat Grizz now, 4 years into his coaching career at Montana State. One of the things he talked about as well is he said Julius Davis is back. So a question on just a noted difference in his running style. And then he said something I thought it was really funny. He was talking about Fife and Ayat, and he says they're the same but different. And I was like, okay, there's a interesting quote from Coach Vegan. They're the same but different. And that's all I got from Coach Vegan.
I love that he acknowledged the rivalry, and that's something I've harped on the podcast, especially on the basketball side, and for a while, and it means something to me, is the game is different. This one means more. You will remember if you played in this game or you watched this game. I can remember where I was the last 15 brawls. I can tell you, the outcome of the last 15 brawls. I can go through, the emotions of those. I can't go through a random NAU game that we played in 2015, 16. I can't go through a random game here and there, but it's one of those things where I don't like when coaches treat this as, oh, it's just another game. We're going to treat it like any other game. No, this one means more. And if you don't bring the energy and you don't know what you're getting into, you're going to lose.
No, he talked about in the summer, when you run into people around town, they're going to talk about Cat Grizz, whether you won or not, you won it or you lose it. Like that's what they're going to be talking about. So he did a good job acknowledging it, I think. Yeah.
I hate when coaches don't acknowledge, especially big rivalries.
I'd be remiss to say too that he did say we need to attack them. We have to be on an attack mode. And he said this rivalry is as alive as ever because Coulter kept peppering questions about him. He's saying, all these rivalries west of the Mississippi are disbanding and how unique this is. So he's painting some narrative there, and Coach bought into it. And he's like, yeah, this is the real deal. And it's a big day. It's a big day for us. And so, yeah, Zach, to echo your thoughts, he's fully aware of the moment.
And the Grizz would love nothing more to spoil everything we've done to this point.
Oh, for sure.
They would love nothing more to give us, basically share a title with UC Davis, to, have an 11-1 season. They would love nothing more to snap that streak in Bozeman. I mean, even though they've had a somewhat disappointing season and they are a little down this year, they're going to give us everything they possibly have and be remiss that they will not come in here ready to play.
No, how many times is the shoe been on the other foot in this situation where they're the number 2 or number 3 team and we're like hanging around that 10 or so spot with a couple 2 or 3 losses, and we're here to spoil their season and boost ourselves in the playoffs, or sometimes even make the playoffs. So they're gonna play spoiler,
but
our revel in it.
The thing that I'm going to counter that is our senior class led by guys like Tommy Malott, Brody Grebe, Rylan Ort, who all gave press conferences today, and the laser focus that they're presenting. Go watch Brody Grebe and tell me he's not ready. He takes this game very personally. Go watch Rylan Ort and tell me he's not juiced up for this game. It's the Cats are equally as juiced as the Grizzlies. I guarantee that.
And this is where I agree with Keaton. I'm so happy this game is this week.
Yeah.
I'm not, man.
Yeah.
I would still go late
No,
October if I
I'm
could.
so happy. I love that. It's right before Thanksgiving, end of the year, little momentum. It's going to be cold. There's going to be some weather potentially. I love that. Actually, I think it's supposed to be a nice day in Bozeman. I take that back.
It's the warmest day in the 10-day. When I
Yeah.
woke up, it was like 46 degrees. It's going to feel balmy compared to the 2022.
It was like 16 degrees today. It was cold.
Yeah. There's gonna be a little bit of warming trend for you guys. So weather should not be a factor. But I mean, it is. What do you think about this week, Zach? Do you like this week?
I love this week. I love the trash
Yeah.
talk. I love the rivalry. I love seeing the jokes. I love what it does to classmates. Like I see my dad, who's a cat from 1996. He's joking, smoking and joking with his classmates from the 90s who never got to see a Cats win. He's actually coming to Bozeman to hang out with me. This will be his first Cat Grizz game since 1995.
Wow, that's
So,
something.
Long time. So super excited to have him in town and share the moment with him.
Yeah.
But it should be a good one, man. It means a lot to me. It means a lot to my family. I have Grizz family members. I think by marriage. I don't think I have any in the family that are actual blood who went there, but it's a big one, man. It separates families. It separates relationships. This one means a lot to a lot of people I know.
Mm-hmm. Love it.
Coach Vegan was talking a little bit today about how he laments the fact that there's championship games going on across the state. He said every person in Montana should be focused in on Bozeman.
Yep.
I was like, all right, let's go, Coach. He knows it now.
Yep.
He knows. So yeah, he's juiced too. All right. Let's before we get into too much about the Cat Grizz, we need to cover the stats of UC Davis and talk a little bit about that game.
We sure do. All right. Well, the stats segment is brought to you by Pronghorn Wealth. If you haven't looked at the stats on your company's 401k since the last time the Grizz beat the Bobcats in Bozeman, reach out to Kendall at Pronghorn Wealth to benchmark your current plan fees at pronghornwealth.com. All right. Bobcats. Escape, is that the word we want to use? I don't know if I like that word in this scenario, but the Bobcats win 30-28 thanks to a 2-point conversion stealing interception by McCade O'Reilly. There, I said his name. This time I got it right. I actually thought about it for a second. All right. 21 first downs for the Aggies to just 16 for the Cats. The Aggies were 4 of 12 on third down, and the Cats were 6 of 15. The Cats were 2 of 2 on fourth down. The Aggies did not go for it on fourth down. 416 yards of total offense for the Aggies, including 324 through the air on 23 of 34 passing for 9.5 yards per pass with an interception, 92 yards on the ground, but really it's more like 130 or 40 when you take out Miles Hastings losing about 43 yards in sacks on 33 rushing attempts for 2.8 yards per carry, including the sacks. The Cats had 333 yards of total offense, 174 through the air on 18 to 25 passing for 7 yards per pass, only 159 yards on the ground, 34 attempts for 4.7 yards per carry, which is not a bad day in the office for most teams. That's doing a pretty good job against the Bobcats, keeping them under 5. 4 penalties for the Cats for 29 yards and 3 penalties on the Aggies for 10 yards. So penalties not a huge factor in this one. We haven't said that too many times throughout this season. True turnovers, kind of the big eye-opening stat here. 1 fumble lost and 1 interception thrown by the Aggies. Cats did win the time possession battle, 33 minutes and 17 seconds to 26 minutes and 43 seconds for UC Davis.
The Foley stat rings true. You got the possession.
That's right. In the red zone, MSU was 2 for 2, and UC Davis was 4 for 4. And we had 6 sacks for 45 yards. UC Davis had no sacks. Some individuals, Tommy was 18 for 75. I think that's right. No, 18 out of 25 for 174 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had 3 carries for 4 yards rushing. That's interesting. Julius Davis, 13 touches, 91 yards. He had a touchdown. Adam Jones, 11 touches for 34 yards with a long of 13. He did have 3 catches for 10 yards. Scottree, before he came out, had 7 touches for 30, the long 24. And fellas, I think if we give it the ball to Scottree on the first play, he's got at least 40 yards on that play, if not a touchdown. But I do get back to the stats right here. Rohan, 3 catches for 58. He had a long of 53. That was that touchdown on the broken play. Ty McCullough had 5 catches for 52 yards with a long of 17. Junior Alexander with 2 for 28. Ryan King, 2 for 13. Taco Dollar, 3 for 13. He had a 77-yard punt return. Miles Sandstead, he was 1 for 2. He had 42-yard field goal and 3 for 4 on extra points. Brendan Hall had 5 punts for 198 yards. Rylan Ort had led the team with 8 solo tackles, 9 total, 2 tackles for a loss. Drew Palador had 4 solo and an interception. Neil Daly, 4 solo, 1 sack. Kenneth Iden, 3 solo. He had 2 sacks. Zach Cruz. Beast mode for Kenneth for sure. Zach Cruz had 3 solo and 2 sacks and a forced fumble. Makeda Riley, 2 solo, 1 sack. There are your 6 sacks right there. Miles Hastings for the Aggies went 22 for 33 for 320 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 interception with a long of 72. A controversial long of 72. I'll just put it that way. The man of the day, though, was Lan Larson, 23 touches on the ground, 117 yards, a touchdown, and then he had 8 catches for 109 yards with a long of 42. Had one of the best catches I've seen this year. And Chaz Davis, another receiver, last stat for me, 4 catches, 128 yards, and a touchdown. He was the guy that caught the dagger at the very end. Those are your stats.
Man, 320 yards through the air for Miles Hastings. I feel like we did a good job, and then you look at the stats. I mean, a lot of it was in that fourth quarter, but they moved the ball around. They got some yards, but not a lot of points. I mean, 28's a decent amount. Don't get me wrong, but I don't know. It was a weird game to digest, to really make sense of.
It just felt so lopsided for so long, but we just did not close the door. We had chances, but we just didn't. A field goal, I felt, would have closed the door. 33-8 would have been like game's over.
Yeah, it's a whole different vibe for sure.
It just the game. We just failed to close the door, and that's the biggest thing that worries me. Is hopefully it's a wake up call. Hopefully we needed it, but you get the win. But I don't know.
Had a little bit of NDSU vibes to it for me as far as that goes, like kind of letting them back in. Brody Greeby talked a little bit about Lan Larson. He said, or excuse me, not Lan Larson, Miles Hastings. He said he could spin it better than any quarterback we've seen all season long, but his ability to scamper, he said he wasn't the quarterback that was going to make the play with his legs.
No.
And that was they planned for that. And and we had a lot of pressure and we were able to dominate right there. But 320 yards, man, he's pretty good quarterback. Crafty guy for sure. Can't say enough about Lan Larson though. All right, he still is, outside of any guy on the Bobcats, the best player I've seen all season long.
He's like an offensive version of like Brody Greeby, if you know his backstory a little bit, like a steer wrestler and kind of just a cowboy kind of guy who's just
a hard
at UC
guy.
Davis because they let him do some other stuff. I believe, but I think he's got a shot in the NFL.
Yeah,
he's got the size, the speed, kind of the attitude.
It's like a more physical Christian McCaffrey.
A little bit, yeah. I could see that.
Like a little more muscle hamstery Christian McCaffrey.
But he can catch everything, as you saw with that one-handed snag. That was an insane catch.
Insane, man. All right.
Think how much different this year if Scadaboo was still in the Big Sky too at SAC.
Gosh, he's getting so much love.
Him. No, but he would have gone wild.
Yeah, no, he's a stud, man. He's having a great year.
Yeah,
he's like even a bigger version of Larson.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, Anything on UC Davis before we get into the Cat Grizz stuff?
I don't think it's a close game if they play us in Bozeman.
Hmm.
I think our crowd is worth so much more. I think the temperature and how we play is worth so much more. I don't think that's game close, and I truly believe we close that game out if it's in Bozeman.
How are you feeling 2 days later?
Confident we're gonna go whoop the Grizz. I'm feeling very good about our chances. I think our defense is good. I like. Again, I said it on the instant reaction. I think it was more of a one-off, fluky. Everything went right in the last 5 minutes for them. That they're a very good team. That's what I took out of it. Is they are a very, very good and very talented team.
Thorny, what are you thinking?
A couple days later, I'm still a little concerned about what I saw. I mean, the Cats scored 7 points in the second half, and that was on the first drive of the second half. And then after that, did pretty much nothing. I don't think we had more than a 7-play drive after that.
Which is kind of it's an ode to the season because we haven't done anything in the second half all year. I mean, we haven't had to, but it feels kind of the same way.
Yeah, I don't know. We couldn't really move the ball, and I couldn't tell exactly why that was. But it doesn't make me necessarily concerned for Saturday. It makes me concerned on the national landscape when you talk about the Dakotas. That's where I'm starting to like, the UC Davis had a huge defensive line, or at least a couple of huge dudes on the defensive line. They're a physical
75.
brand, and I think UC Davis probably compares relatively decent size-wise to some of the Dakotas. I don't know. I didn't love it, but I'm not in panic mode about it or anything like that. But that was my main question here, and I had it on my notes. Like, just how concerned are we about the performance? So that's kind of where I was on that.
They have a lot of they're a very heavy senior laden team. Obviously they had a lot of guys come back, but I think Tim Plow's got that thing in a good place, and I think they're gonna be here for years to be, and I think Tim Plow will probably be there for quite a while. I think he likes it there. He might be one of those dudes where, he went there, this is his alma mater, he's okay making the money he's making there. He's good being there, and he wants that place to be great. He'll just grow with that place.
Yeah.
I think there's a real chance he turns that thing into a power.
I think UC Davis pays their head coach pretty decently compared to other Big Sky schools.
Yeah.
So Davis is going
California
to
money.
essentially take the role of Sac State in the last couple of years. I could see that happening.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I mean, Hawkins had him going for a little bit there, here and there too. But
the thing that concerns me about Davis is they showed that our run game can be stopped.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of people that say no one's stopping our running game, not anybody. I know Coulter Nuanez and his brother last week, they're like, yeah, no one's stopping, nobody. And I'm like, well, pump the brakes here just a moment. Another layer to that is
stop, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, another layer to that. I think it was Tommy talking today. He said, or it might have been Vegan. He said, everybody's been trying to basically throw a version of the defense, or at least the fronts, that Montana threw at us last year, like the odd fronts.
Yep.
He said Eastern tried to do it. Davis tried to do it a little bit. Pretty much every team has successfully tried to mimic that. And I thought that was interesting. I didn't recognize that just watching it as a fan, but it makes sense because Montana really gave us a lot of fits last year over Missoula. We had quite a few negative plays.
Yeah, that was Tommy Malott said that. I listened to that interview.
But it did open up the passing game. I mean, it did open up certain things. Those little side routes to Rohan and Taco, those 4 or 5 yard just out to the outside routes, they were open. And when you do stack the box and you do run those odd looks, you are vulnerable to the outsides, and we have weapons that can hurt you.
Yeah.
Was there anything else we want to talk about, Davis? We did a fair amount on the instant reaction show. I just want to give a lot of credit to Davis. I think they're a very good football team, and I don't really want to meet them again necessarily. I'd feel a lot better if we met them in Bozeman, but they got a lot of playmakers, a lot of positions. They got the brothers on the defensive side, Connors, right? I think they're brothers. Obviously, Larison. They got some good receivers. They got Miles Hastings. They got a good defensive line. The offensive line, we had a good showing against them. I don't think Hastings has been sacked like that all year, so I think we really dialed it up there. So I don't know. They're a good squad. I think they're a top 5 program.
I came away thinking just really impressed with them. They have all the right pieces to make a run. Miles Hastings being the guy that stirs that drink, and Land Larison just being the X factor. I think he's probably, him and Tommy, I would argue, maybe the best offensive players I've seen all season, easily.
I hope they build a fan base. I hope their fans show up for them in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It would be good for the Big Sky if they're good.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. There's not many players in the Big Sky or in the national FCS landscape at the running back position that I would take to come over right now. Land Larison's one of them.
Yep.
Happily would have them guys to somehow transfer to us right now. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing. Speaking of running backs, Coach Vegan did say Scottree is going to be back this week.
Yep.
That's awesome. I keep
Good
wondering,
to hear
like,
that.
what would this game look like if we kept Scottree in? I think he would have been available if needed. To me, he didn't look too hurt, and so that was precautionary rather than necessary. That's the way I'm taking that.
Yeah. Well, that's good. That's good. Maybe if he would have played the second half, we would have done a little bit better. I don't know. I think Scottree, Humphrey is. I think we need Scottree and Davis to kind of be the big dogs against Missoula.
They're number 1, 2 on the depth chart. Adam Jones is number 3 now.
I think it makes sense, at least for this opponent.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the opening line, 16.5 points?
I mean, objectively, if you're taking the rivalry piece aside, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, if you take the last 4 Brawl results of what the home team has done, it makes sense as well.
Just seems like so much.
It seems huge, but it could very well not be even that close.
I think Montana Parlay said it was the largest in history.
What's your confidence meter on a 1 to 10, Zach?
That we win the game or that we just smoke them?
That we win.
Oh, 9.
Thorny?
9 was where I went as well.
Yeah, you're coming into Bozeman. I feel confident. They've. The thing I keep telling myself is they've got all kinds of issues, man.
Talk to me about them.
Okay. You only scored 24 points against Northern Colorado. You lost to a horrible Weber team at home. They've lost 3 games. Is it 3 games at home now, or 2?
No, just 2.
Just 2 at home. You
lost
lost 2 games at home. You have a quarterback system that is far worse than ours last year with the 2 quarterback system. You've got a defense that's been Swiss cheese for the majority of the season, unless they're playing a high school team. Honestly, if I was a Grizz fan, I can't find a lot of good out of this, other than the fact that it is a rivalry game and weird things happen, and you're going to have some Montana kids who don't want to go out with a loss.
Since that Weber loss, it looks like their defense is giving up roughly 13 points a game since then.
Yep.
So they figured something out. Actually, no, I'm sorry. I'm looking at UC Davis backwards. Probably about 17 or 18 points a game. They figured some things out, because before that they gave up 55, they gave up 49, they gave up 35. They had a stretch there where the defense was playing atrocious, and they figured some things out.
Okay, besides Davis, though, they've played Portland State, Northern Colorado, and Cal Poly, though.
Well, yeah, but the Weber game wasn't exactly
Murderers Row.
It was yeah. I remember looking at their schedule before the season, and besides the UND game, I actually had the thought of, crap, they're going to be undefeated again.
Yeah.
I was fully expecting them to be undefeated, and they've got all kinds of issues. And if I was their fan base and just looking at, fully aside, they have an amazing stadium. They have fantastic facilities. They have a fan base that cares. They have money. They have boosters. They have everything it takes to win at this level, at a high level. And to see them not there, it's head scratching, really, from a outside perspective.
I know they have 7 home games this year, and they lost 2 of them.
And I don't know if I said it on the pod. I don't know if I've said this yet. I asked you guys because I truly think they were close to firing Bobby midway through last season before things turned. And I thought, if this little run, this kind of the magical run they made to the title game, was this detrimental to them in the long run because it got Bobby Houck a 4-year contract.
It's hilarious because basically Clifton McDowell got Bobby Houck a contract.
Yeah. I had that thought of, it's weird to say it, but I was like, did this little run actually do more harm than good? Fully, what do you
for
think?
who? For who?
For the Grizz.
Well, number one, the grass is not always greener. We saw that
exactly.
multiple times in
True.
Missoula when they hired Robin Pflugrad. They hired obviously
McDennehy came back.
Yeah, McDennehy and Bob Stitt. So they've had some hires that weren't stellar.
Nobody's done it besides Bobby, but also it's just they seem to vastly underperform for what they have.
Well, the talent's not there this year.
Yeah.
Would you say that the Grizzlies are playing their best football right now?
I mean, maybe, but that's not really saying a lot.
Normally about this time this year, I think they are, and I don't know if they are right now.
If they decide to stick with Fife, so that's my biggest key to this game. If the Grizz are smart enough to actually realize Ayat ain't it, or at least minimize, go away from that Bobby Houck's just going by his feelings at the moment, who's the better quarterback.
We're going off feels here.
If you put in Logan Fife for the entire game, that's probably going to work out for you.
Do you guys remember Sorry, do you guys remember last year on this pod when I said if Clifton McDowell, if they go 3-and-out their first 2 series and Clifton McDowell's good, Ayat's coming in the game? Guess what? If Fife goes 3-and-out the first 2 series, Ayat's coming in the game, and I feel that way because I think Bobby's going to switch it. I'll make the same prediction this year.
Is he healthy? I guess that's my first question.
I have no idea.
He came out with an injury. That's why Fife got elevated from the doghouse.
That was fiery.
And then, they got a screaming match on the sideline.
So here's my take on all of that is I think that screaming match and all that fire kind of galvanizes the team that says it sends a message that says, let's go. They will ride Fife. I think their defense is probably playing their best ball right now because they lost a ton. Think about who they lost. Governor, they lost all their linebackers last year. Some guys on the back end that you're like, those guys are still playing for the Grizzlies. So they lost a ton of those dudes. Those guys are learning how to play and coalesce together. Like you said, they switched some stuff up. From what I heard, they're starting to play more zones and less man. But you know who stated all this? Tommy Millott. He has these guys dialed in. He without going into a lot of detail, he gave a lot about their defense. And I don't know, man. I'm just saying. I think that like for this version of this team, I think they're probably playing their best right now. I think they have a little bit of an ace in the hole with this Fife argument, and I think they can rally behind that and say, okay, this is our guy. He's the guy that's going to push back against Bobby. I think Bobby's going to welcome the role of the Darth Vader of that team. I'm the bully. Prove me wrong. Rally against me, and I'll take you to the championship kind of deal. So I think that's where they're going to go with this, or hoping to go with this. But I don't think they got the dogs that we got, and it's at home. And when it comes down to it, like the pragmatist in me just says Montana State is better. But who knows? These games, these rivalry games, are played in a vacuum in my brain. Anything can happen, and I have no clue what to expect. My confidence level probably is like a 6.5.
I don't think you count out Bobcat Stadium and the factor that plays into this game.
Huge. Huge.
Montana has not played, I think, against North Dakota. That would probably be the biggest crowd they've played against this year. They have not played on the road against a serious crowd that's going to play an impact. And I think you can't count out Bobcat Nation and what we're going to do and what people are going to show up and do. We have a chance to go 12-0 That's going to be rambunctious. That just adds an extra spice. We have a chance to win our first outright conference title since 1984. We have our first chance to go 12-0, and we can take the trophy back.
Let's do it.
I want that damn trophy back, man. I want it
Yeah.
back so bad at the Bobcat Athletic Complex.
The narrative that we painted this year for the Idaho game was revenge. Like, I think this is another revenge game.
Yep.
There's a bad taste in players' mouths that were here last year in Missoula to get kind of smacked down the way we did. So there's going to be that factor, and I think that motivates this team a lot.
I go back a lot, and I watched that 2019. There's a 1:25 clip after the 2019 Brawl where they just kind of pan out and watch the stadium, and Moni's playing. The field's been stormed. The players are there. Man, I watched that thing so many times during the season, and I've watched that thing a couple times already today and yesterday, and I'll probably watch it a couple more times to get myself riled up. But I think about that moment. I'm like, that moment is what it means to be a Bobcat.
Yeah.
If you were to be like, I've showed it to people who have been like, who know nothing about Bobcat football or FCS football, and they've been like, oh, what's Montana State like, or what's your guys' football? And I pull that clip up on my phone and I go, this is what we are.
Love it.
Zach.
And that's how I define us, man. That is us.
You're getting me fired up.
I know. Now I want to go rewatch that game.
Let's
Speaking
go.
of that game, first play of that game, or second play, maybe Jacquay Allen forces a fumble. And we'll have him on the podcast on Wednesday, Jacquay Allen. So
against my elementary school classmate and teammate on every single sport I played till the 5th grade, Samori Torre. Good buddy.
Oh, really?
I went to elementary school. I was in every class with that kid till the 5th grade.
oh,
Good
sorry
dude.
that Jacquay Allen made him fumble.
I'm not. You chose to go to the wrong school.
Is he in the league right now?
He was on the Packers. I don't know who he's on this year. I actually haven't checked. He was making his plays for the Packers last year.
That's cool. It was a vicious hit. Absolutely vicious hit. Wow. Yeah. Soul taking stuff right there. Love it. Oh man. Well, gosh, man, I hope I can watch it because I get so nervous watching these games.
Yeah.
Oh man, just pull back the curtains on Ryan Foley. I'm a nervous wreck when it comes to this kind of stuff. But yes, hey, if we can't be confident now, then when are we going to be confident in our Bobcats? And I think you're right, Zach. Bobcat Nation is something different. It's on a new level to me. Like I haven't even been in Bozeman, but you can just see it. And I will be in Bozeman during the playoff run sometime. I think Thorny and I are going to make a trip over there. It's just different.
It feels big time because it is big time. That's the best way I could describe it.
Yeah.
We have a big time scoreboard. We got a big time crowd that makes big time noise. And we got a big time team that's doing some big things.
That's very well said. I mean, there really is nothing small time about Montana State anymore, especially for us, Foley, you and me. They're back before the end zone was bowled in. The game day experience was terrible. There was no fanfare before the game. There wasn't the prowl. It was just like you just show up and then the team runs out. There was no rodeo, no fireworks. There's nothing.
Yeah, it's unreal where we've come in a short amount of time, to be honest with you. Don't take it for granted.
Cruzado a statue for what she's done for our athletics department. I mean, this is everything we harp on and are so thankful on. 90% of it, I personally attribute to what her vision and what she's done. She recognized what athletics could be for this school, and we are so fortunate for what she's given us.
Love that woman.
Love her. Build the statue. Build a little 5-foot statue out front of Montana Hall.
The materials won't cost a lot.
All right, boys. I'm sure we're going to continue talking about the Montana State game. Hey, back by popular demand is the game that I crafted last time, and I know our listeners been waiting for it. It's called Name That Bobcat. Thorny.
just done talking about the Grizz already?
Well, no. We're going to circle back
taking
to
a break,
it.
I guess.
We're taking a
Okay.
break. We're taking a.
I feel like we didn't really talk anything
We're
important.
taking
is
a break to see how ass I am at our team.
Okay.
And
This-
learning
this is-
what we do.
Just Foley over there just can't contain it. He's like, all right, I'm going to interject with
He's
my
been sitting
game
there
that I've been
shaking
sitting
with
on
this
all
piece
day.
of paper for the last 30 minutes, ready to go.
Oh man, you know me. I can't. I put some work into this. I want to play. So the halftime game, we're gonna take a timeout. We're going to play a little game. If I do remember right, we tried to stack it against Thorny last
You did.
time. Yep.
You still couldn't, you couldn't keep me down though.
No, and Zach was terrible at this, and so
I'm still terrible.
So I'm sure the questions will be very balanced this time around.
what I tried to do is make it a little bit more fair. So I have 4 questions for both of you. All right. And here's what we'll do. If you can't answer, it will get punted to the opposite person, and they can choose to answer and pick up that point. I do have a couple tiebreakers if it comes down to that.
All right,
right.
I'm ready to lose.
All right, Zach, since you lost, you're going to go first.
Yay.
All right, Zach. Of name that Bobcat. Number 6. Is it Javante King, Ty McCullough, or Jabez Woods?
Ty McCullough.
Softball.
Yeah, thank you.
Rigged.
Woo!
You got
All right.
you got Scott J. Humphrey last
Yeah,
round. I don't
yeah.
want to hear rigged.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right. In fairness, I try to make round 1 pretty easy so you guys can both get on board. Thorny,
They'll probably botch it.
number 30. Is it Danny Yu,
Danny, you.
Cole Taylor,
Danny,
or
you.
Cole?
My answer.
Danny Yu.
Save,
All right.
Save your time.
All right. There it is. All right. After 1 round, we are tied 1-1. All right. A little bit harder next time. All right. Round number 2. Zach, number
Can't even look at
90,
you.
number 93. Is it Brendan Hall, Blake Schmidt, or Talon Marsh?
Oh, everything in my head saying Brendan Hall. Yeah.
Woo! Nice,
Ooh.
dude.
I was like, is he 93 or 97? For some reason, 97 was. I was like, why am I thinking that?
That's a tough one. All right. Thorny, number 76. Is it Jaden Perkins, Marcus Ware, or Connor Moore?
Connor Moore.
Incorrect.
Connor Moore,
Zach?
72.
Jaden Perkins.
Marcus Ware.
Woo!
I thought he was 79.
Oh, Zach takes a 3-1 lead over Thorny. Wow, that's pivotal right there. Round
Now
number
I'm gonna be
3.
like the Bobcats and try to defend this lead on the way home. Just blow it.
Zach's sweating. Okay, Zach. Round number 3, number 13. Is it Jared White, Jace McMillan, or Chance Wilson?
Chance Wilson.
Oh man, Thorny, you were getting waxed. Okay, Thorny. Round number 3, number 39. Is it Miles Hanstead, Max Murphy, or Jacob Trimble?
Miles Sandstead.
That's a tough one.
That was one across elimination because I didn't know I knew the other two weren't 39.
All right. Round number 4. Zach, number 55. Is it JT Reed, Justice Perkins, or Connor Moore?
JT Reed.
Zach, you nailed all of them, man. You were, and you got one of Thorny's. I don't think Thorny, you can actually win. So this is just for fun. Zach or Thorny, number 19. Is it Zach Cruz, Neil Daly, or
Neil
Zachary?
Daly.
Yeah, it's Neil Daly.
All right, there it is.
So there was only one that I didn't know that entire time, and it was, of course, the question that I had.
Yep, there it is. Zach,
I
you
knew
were
every
a
single one that
5-3
Zach
winner.
had.
I take it back. I freaking love this game. Well done, Foley.
Best 2 out of 3.
Thorny, I'm going to give you a chance to come back with the tie. Special round for Thorny only, tiebreaker.
Okay.
Players that have been retired.
Oh, jeez.
Number 78. Is it Sonny Holland, Bill Collar, or Jan Stenerud?
Sonny Holland.
No, it's not. Zach, do you know it?
It's not Bill because he's 77. So, it would be Jan.
Yep, it would be on. Sorry, Thorny, you lost again. All right, there it is, guys.
That was process.
Thanks
of
for playing.
elimination,
That's a good one. Hey, you guys did way better than you did last time. Much improved. Much improved. Well done, fellas.
I didn't even
All right,
study.
now back to our talk.
This is extremely disruptive.
Ah, man, that's
right.
good stuff for me.
Yeah. We're going to have our annual name conversation of how GrizzCat is the stupidest thing in the world and Grizz fans are dumb.
It's stupid.
It's
They're
stupid.
dumb.
Call it what it is. Call it the Brawl or call it Cat Grizz.
If you
Just
can't bring yourself to say Cat Grizz, call it Brawl of the Wild. That's
Or
fine.
the Brawl.
Or the Brawl. I like that name. I know
Yeah.
people don't. I like it.
It took me a few years to warm up. I like it. I'm a big fan of the Brawl.
It's
so grating against my ears, the Grizz Cat. It's something I heard when I was in my 20s from an older gentleman, a guy I really respected. I was like, what? No. It's just, no. Just don't do it, people. The people who are listening to us, of course, they agree with us, but I feel like this is non-contentious. It's just Cat Grizz, no matter what. So there it is. Done. I don't call it the Brawl.
I was thinking about going full Roger Fisher and bringing a sign to the game this year, and the only thing I was thinking about is how Clifton McDowell called it the Brawl or whatever they call it, and that the Grizz kind of ran with that last year.
Mm-hmm.
What did he say?
I was thinking about having a sign say, "We don't care what you call it, just give us our damn trophy back."
It's getting a little niche.
Yeah.
Building off like an inside thing from last year. I like it. Give us that damn trophy back. We're coming for that trophy.
The other one I had was it's lopsided in Bozeman, and we like to keep it that way.
It's a good
Going
one.
a little Bobby Houck on that, but I don't know. Just playing off some stuff.
Oh, you got time. People out there listening.
Yeah.
What
Send
do you
us
want,
your
Zach?
sign ideas.
Send a sign idea. Zach may or may not
Use it.
Pocket square. Put a pocket square on a sign.
See, we're not going back to the football talk. We completely derailed this fully.
I don't know. I loved it. I was a big fan of that game.
It was
I ever said I didn't
fun.
like that game? Love that game.
It was fun. It did not fit where it was inserted.
Somehow Thorny now owes Zach beers because of that game and me.
No.
So
I think we're tied out because of Idaho State. Thanks, Bengals. Way to play defense this week.
They fired their DC after that.
I know.
After one game with like one game left in the season, they're like, "No, you're not playing that. You're not coaching that last game. You're out of here."
Do you know how bad you have to be to get fired?
And that's terrible. In case you didn't know, Eastern scored 77, something like that.
Scored on every possession.
They did that to us one year.
That makes me shiver thinking because I hate their stupid announcer. The touchdown to Eastern Washington. He just drags on forever.
yes.
Imagine that guy's voice doing that 11 times. Ugh. Awful.
Oh my, yeah. Zach, I actually did think about that this week and was like, oh no. And then every time he had to mention first down Eagles. Yeah. Imagine how many of those.
That was actually really good. If you've never been to a game at Eastern, that was amazing.
Go apply for the job.
Yeah.
I committed to it. I did not sell it short. Hey, I got a Tommy question for you. CNC Cat says, do you think Tommy will have more touchdowns rushing or passing this week?
Passing.
Yeah, I think so. He always seems to score touchdowns in this game. I feel like he'll have 2 or 3 rushing touchdowns.
Do you think we're
Zach's
going to
hot
be able to
take,
run
he
on
has
him?
yes. Portland
Last year we
State ran
couldn't.
all over him.
Yeah, it's a good point. It's a good point. Good point. They don't have
They didn't
Governor
put it in
this
the
year.
end zone, but they ran all over them.
How many rushing yards did Portland State have against the
Let me
Grizz?
pull it up.
That's what she
Talk
said.
about something else while I pull it up.
Okay. The answer is yes from Rocky Bearcat. I like that answer. Let's see. Give me another one. We did have a couple Golden Coolie questions that required way too much research. Speaking 213 yards.
I thought it was more, but
yeah. Rocky Bearcat says, please break down the injury situation for Cats and Grizz. How many starters from the game one remain for each team? Yeah, we're not going to do that. That's a lot of work, Rocky Bearcat. I think
like the question though.
Yeah, I think most
we're
teams are
missing-
relatively
yeah.
healthy, actually. I mean, Sands are big three that are down for the season, right? Caden Dowler, Danny Yu, and Blake Schmidt.
That's all I can really think of. I don't think we've lost anybody for the year on the offense.
No. Coach Vegan talked today. He said Justice Perkins is, what is his name? Functional. What does that mean, fellas?
Yeah.
I don't know. That was interesting choice of words.
Functional. Yeah. But yeah, that's a tough one, Rocky Bearcat. We don't have that kind of information.
No. Interesting question though. Like I would love to hear the answer to it. But yeah.
I'd say listen to Coulter this week. I'm sure he'll break it down.
Yeah. Someone will talk about it.
Yeah.
In depth.
Somebody will go for 3 hours and 43 minutes on a podcast and talk about nothing and maybe talk about it.
We just cracked the hour mark and I'm done.
Did you listen to the GFP today?
I listened to about 40 minutes of it.
What's
Great
the vibe?
Man.
What did I haven't tuned in.
I don't know. They're still living in the mid 2000s.
Yeah, me too. Just not football wise.
I think they're just living in the mid 2000s.
Mine's more music based.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Are they pretty optimistic?
I don't know. When they get to hour 3 and they've had a couple in them, then we'll figure out if they're optimistic or not.
Yeah, there you go.
Normally, Luke is pretty pessimistic about that point on that pod.
Yeah. Years ago, we all did a collaboration together. I think the whole GFP tried to get on a call, or maybe it was just the Cats and the Grizz. Yeah, it was the Cats and the Grizz. And it was such a cluster. I think I probably said 2 words because there's 12 guys on the whole call. And it was Bad News Bears. It was really weird and odd. But yeah, I don't know. Those guys are good guys, so they're fun people.
They are good dudes. I like those guys.
Yeah.
Even though they're on the other side. All right, I'll ask a question real quick. You guys are a little older. I'm gonna please.
Thanks.
Yeah, I'd love people to participate on this. I like asking this every year. What's your favorite Brawl memory, or kind of like just a moment you like about the Brawl?
I can go first. One comes right to my brain is the first time we went in Bozeman after the streak and rushing the field. Travis Lule was our quarterback. What you probably don't recognize about the field was it wasn't the turf yet. It was still grass. And there was such a crown on the field. It was a noticeable like rise and drop. And I got down to the field. I was like, holy cow. Like I kept thinking, I was like, Scott Turnquist, who was an amazing receiver back then, had to run these crossing routes. And just like the elevation and drop that you would gain just going over the field. And the field was just diced. It was a muddy mess. It must have been like probably what's going to be like this week 46 degrees out, but had snow that week, and so it was sloppy. But I remember a ton of kids, all of us, taking down the goalpost. We took down the goalpost and we marched it through town. I think that thing hung, or at least a section of it hung in the R bar for a long time. It still might be there.
There's a section in the Crystal, I know.
Yeah, that might have been in Crystal.
So-
I mean, whatever, but it was a moment I'll never forget.
Unfortunately, that goalpost might have exploded. That's a good question.
So I'll give you another one. A year later, or 2 years later, when we were back at Montana State or in Bozeman for it, when Corey Smith took the kickoff, the opening kickoff for a touchdown, it was so cold that day. At that point, I had never heard Bobcat Stadium that loud ever in my entire life. And I remember I was standing next to Courtney Kramer, Mike Kramer's daughter.
Smith,
and
no flags.
Yeah, and I remember I got pushed back by the wave of just raucousness, and I got pushed back into the crowd. Didn't care one bit. It was the most electric moment I can remember in my lifetime in Bobcat Stadium.
I mean, I don't know if I have a specific one. I mean, there's obviously the Junior Adams touchdown reception, 2002. My favorite overall experience, though, was 2 years ago, 2022. I was there at College Game Day. I got like the little VIP pass for being on the Cat Castle media pass thing, and just going in the stadium and just being there in person to watch us just dismantle the Grizzlies was an all-time football moment for me. Just awesome. The whole experience, the game day, seeing like Pat McAfee and the whole crew up there it was awesome.
It's big time, man.
It is big time. I'm so glad I splurged and kind of spontaneously decided to go to that. Yeah.
Well, I'm glad. Again, we talked about how there's rivalries disappearing in conference realignment, and cherish this game. Cherish what it means. Cherish what it means to the people of the state, and that we're blessed that we get this every year.
Yeah, that's a good point, Zach.
I was at the Apple Cup this year in not Century, whatever they call it, Lumen Field in Seattle now, and it just didn't feel right. It felt awkward and weird.
Yeah.
So enjoy it.
We'll enjoy it in the FBS soon enough. We can still enjoy it while we're all members of the Mountain West Conference.
We're all holding hands in the Mountain West as long as they have a group of 5 playoff. And then it's just literally 1980s and 1990s FCS.
I want to ask a couple football questions. Just one football question. Each one of you, just give me your main key to the Cat Chris game. I feel like we talked very little football today. So
I feel like we talked a lot for the instant reaction, though.
We did.
Yeah.
What's your key? What's your one key to this game? Whoever wants to answer first.
Can they stop our run in any capacity, or do we run wild on them?
I have 2 keys. I think if we can knock that obnoxious eye black off of Fife's face, that's number 1. In essence, just make him feel uncomfortable, kind of like what we did to Hastings. I thought our defensive plan on Hastings in the first 3.5 quarters of that game was phenomenal. Awesome job. And can we run the ball, just like Zach said? Can we establish a run? Yeah.
If they can't stop our run, we win this game. Period.
Easily. Yeah. If we go for 250 at least on the ground, we'll win.
Those are both definitely ones I had on my mind. So what I'll switch to then is the key for me is just punching them in the mouth immediately.
Yeah.
Just coming out there, maybe the first drive, 80 yards, 4 minutes, touchdown. That's what I want to see. I want to see us bring the energy right away. Or if they get the ball first at 3 and out, get the ball back right away. I just want to see us dominate immediately, punch them in the mouth, offensively, defensively. Because once that starts steamrolling in Bozeman, it doesn't stop.
I think that's realistic because, again, it's been so telling with the last 4 brawls of that has happened. 2019, the fumble.
Yeah.
2021, they took the top off our defense. I think the first or second play of the game. 2022, we marched down their throats. The first, play of the game, the first series of the game, they couldn't stop us. And then in the 23 game, McDowell just ran down the field on us, and they punched it right in with ease. So
all home games.
Yeah, it's the home game, but it is definitely, I think it's a very telling sign. If we go down there and just punch them right in the mouth to start, my first thought is this is just going to be like all the others.
I might be wrong on this, but it feels like every Cat Grizz game that the Grizzlies take a shot going deep within the first 3 plays of the game. They try to get that home run ball right off the bat.
They do.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's a signature of Bobby Hauck. He always tries to turn the momentum.
Yeah.
And that place is going to be rocking.
Yeah, the last thing you want to do is they come in there and quiet the crowd
Yep.
real quick. That's our biggest advantage. They'll get back into it, but you just don't want to even quiet them at any point.
Sure.
How many passing yards do you think we have in this game?
I'll set the over and under at 150.5.
Buy or sell, Tommy has 15 plus attempts.
I'll buy that.
Yeah, buy it.
All right.
Over 150, we hit, was it 174 this week? I'm going over. But if that's the over, that means that we can't run the ball. We're having trouble running the ball. Because if
Not
we're finding
necessarily.
success running the ball, we're not going to deviate from that. And then we will limit our passing opportunities. And then Tommy will have 7 to 10 completions for 100.
I don't know, 525 yards of total offense, easily squeezes 160 passing yards in it and gets us over that magical 300 yard.
Yeah, I like it.
Hey, Danny Adder on Twitter asks us over and under on the Bobcat rushing yards. I'll set it at, if no one else has anything, I'll set it at 275.
I was going to say 250 was my over under. I think it's over. I think it's over 275. Sure, just shy of 300 is what I'm thinking.
Man, I really want to take it. I do. I'm going to go under. I think something was shown against Davis, but it might just be personnel. I know the Grizzlies don't have the same type of body types that Davis does on the defensive line, and that's been the knock against them is that they've been light. Can they create enough chaos, and do our backs have the vision? Because when in 2022 we really beat them with the outside zone. Are we going to go to the outside zone? If we stick with the inside zone, I think we will have problems. So, and I'm not sure. That's a tough question. What's your thoughts, Thorny?
I think it's going to be over. In my mind, I'm thinking Scottree and Julius burst through the holes like they have been doing.
Let's go. I'm
I
with
think
you.
we need explosive plays in this game. The Grizz are kind of running a bend but don't break defense right now. So that's why Portland State was able to rack up some yards, but not many points. So I think we need to score from like 30 yards out.
Yeah.
So I think we need some explosive running plays in this one. I think it'll happen.
I think the Donjoy Mafia is pissed off. They got pushed around against Davis.
Yeah.
I think they're gonna. I believe in that offensive line room. There's gonna be bad blood, and they're hearing the heat on that. I guarantee the coaches are pushing that in the head of, hey, you guys think you're the thing, and you guys just got showed that you can be bullied around.
Well, I'd bet a lot of money too that Tommy Malott has more than 4 rushing yards or whatever.
I'd bet that too.
So I think Tommy's going to be unleashed a little bit here, or will have the opportunity to do so.
It was weird not seeing Tommy pull the ball on Saturday. He had some opportunities. It was weird. seeing him
Yeah.
not take that, especially
He
when
made a few wrong reads, I think, Davis. I don't know if they're
Yeah.
doing something to confuse him or if that was kind of a directive he was going with. Maybe they weren't options at all. Maybe they were just meant to be that way, but I don't know. There's a few that were like, that's not quite vintage Tommy decision making there.
It's very protective, Tommy.
Yeah,
He-
that could
he-
have
he
been
does
what they
know-
wanted him to do.
Yep, he knows this whole magical ride stops with him.
It's
I
true.
think everybody knows it.
Yeah. Can't take the gamer out of him, though. Yes.
Joshua Eckert asks us, Ayat's injury brings UM's 2 QB system into question this week. Do you guys prefer facing the 2 QB system, which has seemed to stifle their momentum from time to time, or the more one-dimensional system with only Fife that has seemed more consistent? I mean, I'd rather face the 2 QB system because it's dysfunctional as hell over there.
Yeah, same.
The thing about their 2 QB
Again.
system that's interesting is like it's not like any other 2 quarterback system there is, where there's like a very different style of quarterback. They're very similar quarterbacks. One is just better than the other, but they don't do anything different. So what you're doing is you're going back and forth between 2 quarterbacks who are very similar in skill sets, and one's a little faster. That's really about it. They're not doing different offenses. When the Cats have like Chambers or like North Dakota State brings in like that, what was that guy's name? I don't forget his name.
In the championship game, I remember that.
But they're different offenses and different personnel packages. The Grizz just all of a sudden there's a different quarterback. Nothing else has changed.
Well,
So
if one guy makes a mistake, he's immediately pulled.
yeah. So I mean, I'd rather face a 2 QB system for the Grizz.
Yep.
I think them riding Fife will be the best thing that's happened to them. It's going to be potentially the Clinton McDowell moment, and I hope it doesn't happen against us.
I think I know the answer to this question, but what do they have to do to beat us?
I think they throw the ball down the seam.
They throw the ball and they stop the run.
Yep, and they get their running game going. Eli Gilman's a good running back.
Yep.
He's hard to tackle. If our tackling's not there,
Yeah.
and Fife is the starter, and they get the running game going, they're going to score a lot of points.
Yep.
They have the potential to score a decent amount of points against the Cats, and if they're containing the running game, that's how you do it. They beat the Cats.
I think time of possession sounds familiar.
God.
But I just think last year I'm like, okay, is Willie Matt Garza going to figure this out? And this year I go, is Bobby Daly going to figure this out? And that feels way easier to answer in my brain. Because he gets it. He gets
Our
it.
defense is going to be okay.
Yeah, I think we're going to
I'm not super worried about our defense.
Create havoc. Do yourself a favor. Stop the podcast right now and go just watch Brody Grebe talk. It's posted on Bobcat Nation 406 Montana Sports. Just watch it. You'll get a sense. Enough said on that.
Enough said.
Hey, DeMike's on Twitter asks us, what's it gonna take for Brody Grebe to draw a holding call? It's not gonna happen.
I don't know.
He's got one regular
to freeze
season
over.
game left in his career. They're not gonna start calling him now. They get together every single offseason to determine they're not gonna call a holding call on Brody Grebe. The referee's pretty sure it's on the whiteboard in the Sky official's office.
I'm becoming a more firm believer in this, which I heard this idea floated out that referees should have to do post-game press conferences. And
the white hat should anyway. The white hat should.
I heard that of the accountability and stuff, and I'm beginning to become 100. I think I'm 100% there. The white hat should have to do a 5-minute press conference after every game.
So I'm big into protecting referees. Everyone else is like, no, they should be out there explaining themselves constantly. Like, no one's going to do the job if that's what you have to do. It's a hard enough job as it is. You got to protect them a little bit. But I kind of like that idea.
Yeah,
I kind of like that idea. They don't have to ask him any tough questions. He just comes out there with like some sort of statement. I don't know. Maybe field a couple questions. But I don't know. That'd be interesting.
Are we buying that Grebe gets a holding call in this game?
No, I'm selling that with all I'm worth.
Montana Sports Bet or whatever the hell the betting
Yeah.
company is in Montana should have a prop bet for greeby holding calls.
Plus
One call against
20,000.
them plus whatever. I don't even know how to make that, but make it a high odd, 8-1. I understand those kinds of things. I don't understand all the plus 100 to 200 stuff.
Gosh,
Gotta get into it. Got into it. Get into it, man. I'll teach you. It's fun.
Most of my gambling experience has been horse racing.
Well, the state of Washington does it weird over there. I'll say that.
I think that's all I have on Twitter. I had one more that was also about Brody Greeby. Oh, that's the Mike's again. He just private messaged and also posted today. So he's very, very curious about Brody Greeby getting a holding goal. Aren't we all? Aren't we all, buddy?
Yeah.
There was a play against Davis where he just got just mangled. I don't get it. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Anyway, it's not going to happen against Missoula either.
I wonder if the coaches before the game, normally, the refs meet with coaches and ask, hey, running any trick plays, anything, you want us to look for in particular. They ask both coaches that question.
They do.
Of, is there anything in particular we need to be looking out for? And I'd love if he could just us, watch 41 the entire game and, get your flag ready.
Somebody entire job, just look at 41.
Yeah.
Spy, a referee spy.
Yeah, just spy. Don't even spy. Just take one look during the play at him, and he'll probably be getting held.
If it's a passing play, he's going to get held. Almost
On the flip side, does the offensive coordinator to be like, hold that guy. He doesn't get the flags, and he's tough.
Yeah. Like, whatever you do, hold on to that guy for dear life.
Oh, senior day. That's another layer in this, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not going to be the last game they're playing in Bobcat Stadium, but there's a little bit, there's another layer for that. Whew.
I don't know, man. All signs coming up cats to me right now.
Yeah, so here's what I'm going to do this week. I'm not going to listen to much besides us. I will stay in my little bubble of Bobcatness, and because there's going to be a ton of content coming out. How are you guys going to consume?
I'm actually consuming a lot more than I normally do. I don't know what it is, maybe because we're such heavy favorites, and I'm feeling confident. Like you said, kind of the 9 out of 10, which that's high. Yep. And upon further review, that's a big number, but everything points to the Cats being able to run away with this if they play like they should be able to play. So I will probably be consuming a lot of content.
I'll probably watch the Miracle Missoula documentary probably 3 times this week.
I still haven't seen it. No,
seriously?
I did watch it once. Yeah, I think I did watch it once. Yeah, maybe I'll watch that again. Maybe that'll be my
that thing gets
activity.
Me jacked up.
I will not because of superstition. I watched that last year and I was like, oh man, I'm so jacked, and then we lost. So there you go. There's some superstition for me.
Didn't somebody ask us a question about superstition?
Oh yeah. And I didn't even touch the iceberg about what I do. I was thinking about that the other day. It goes down to like what flag I'm flying, what hat, what hoodie I've been wearing. It's what beer I'm drinking. I'm weird.
I'm weird.
It comes down to it, man. There's all of it matters to me. All of it. Oh man, if people only knew. Okay, there it is.
First chance in school history to go 12-0.
Golly, that's so cool,
crazy, man.
That's so cool.
It's an impressive feat.
So I was
11-1 is an impressive feat.
Yeah, I was thinking today too. I was like, would a loss actually been good for us? And I was kind of debating that. But here's the thing.
I want 12-0.
Okay, I knew you were going to say that. And
there was a question
about you, Zach.
Yeah, I know.
There was a question about the late game scare against UC Davis being good for the Cats.
Yeah, and here's what I landed on is the way that Coach Vegan has prepared the team this year. This whole 1-0 mentality is so impressive. Think about this. I was thinking about this when I was watching these player interviews. How well put together are these young men? I think back to myself when I was 21, 22 at most at Montana State, 19, 20. Like to give the answers and composure that I see from our Bobcat players, I was like, holy cow, I wasn't there. They just show so much maturity, so much steadiness and fire at the same time. It's really impressive. And so I think the 12-0 mentality or 1-0 mentality to get us to 12-0 is just perfect. Would a loss benefit us? No, I don't think it would, because I don't think we would think anything different. We're just 1-0 every week.
1-0.
1-0.
Let's go 1-0 again. That's all that matters right now. Is
Yeah.
that 1-0, and it potentially gives us that 1 seed. That's on the line. That's up for grabs anyway. It's within reach.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Again, we got to look inside the committee's mind in early November. They don't release anything until the bracket. We have no idea what they're thinking or what they thought about that
No.
UC Davis game. We have no idea what they think if we smoke, maybe NDSU has trouble with South Dakota at home or at South Dakota. Maybe they have trouble and come up with a close win and we blow out Montana. We don't know what's going to happen.
No. It would be hard to keep a 12-0 Cat team finishing the way we did with an FBS win that turned out to be pretty decent.
Yep.
It'd be hard to keep out of the number 1 spot. But they probably will. Because they're jerkwads.
Coming in at the 4 seed, Montana State.
I would throw
12-0.
something through my TV.
I wouldn't even be that surprised.
If they Florida State us.
They played nobody.
Oh.
I think the schedule's only 22.
All right.
All right, boys. It's a big week.
Huge.
Said that enough.
Any final thoughts from anybody?
I hope this game's over at halftime.
Yeah. Let's go. That's where I was at.
And I think there's a legit shot that happens. Knock on wood, but
I hope
I'm just
our
happy
boy
with any sort of win in a Brawl a Wild game.
Steve is on our group chat saying the thing he does every week. When's Chance Wilson gonna get in?
Yeah,
I want
on
that.
Chance Wilson passing attempts at 2.
That's a tasty one. I don't know. We got to think for next year. We'll come up with we make our own over unders and then we take them and then we just see it throughout the season. We'll do 3 a week. We should do something like that and keep track of it.
Have little fake betting money.
Fake betting. The R&R Monopoly segment.
We could do
Monopoly lines. I love that.
We could do a prop bet type thing that we come up with every week, and then have some sort of computer system, and people that listen to the podcast can do it, and the winner gets a little prize at the end of the season.
And Sports Bets Montana.
Or every week, the winner per week who wins the most amount of fictitious dollars gets a coolie.
I like it.
It'll be fun.
We're coming up with segments. We got Name That Bobcat. We got all kinds of segment ideas.
The creative juices are flowing, boys.
The other juices are flowing too.
All the juices.
All the vim.
Mostly
full
the
of
beer.
vim.
Mostly beer. We have
All
vim
full
and
of vim
beer.
over here.
Hey, Thorny, are you going to be wearing your Gold Rush t-shirt?
I don't know. What do you think? I have not been wearing it very much at all. I think I didn't wear any Bobcat gear for UC Davis because I wasn't even watching the game. I was out and about. I haven't worn the Gold Rush shirt very much. I dare wear it?
What did you do on Idaho?
It's a great question.
Do whatever you did.
I think I wore the Gold Rush shirt.
Yeah, do that then. Do that. Yeah.
I got a last question. What kind of uniforms do you want us to wear?
Ooh.
Throwbacks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's my answer for everything.
The GFP was talking about that, I think the 08 Brawl, where they came out in the stupid cat puke looking uniform throwbacks that they used to wear.
Copper and poop.
Yeah. I think my cat pukes that color.
What's your favorite?
That was cool for galvanizing a fan base.
Oh, yeah.
And didn't they go back in and didn't they run out in different uniforms, run back in and change into them?
Yeah, the GFP was talking about that because they had one of the former players on, and they talked about how they sent the true freshmen out to be captains in their maroon uniforms, and so it wasn't the normal captains for the coin toss.
Something was afoot.
Yeah.
If you were paying attention. I like their Halloween ones from like 2010 or 12 where we beat them in the snow.
That's probably the worst uniforms they've ever worn.
I don't know. It'd be cool if it came out with some sort of alternate uniform of some kind.
I think I'm kind of over wearing the white helmets against the Grizz that we've seemed to wear in the last like 8 years.
It'll be just a standard uniform combo, though.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of over those white helmets. I think I want to go back to the gold.
All right.
Yeah.
What are we betting? Helmet color bet. I say gold.
I'm
gold
gold
with cat script.
I like it.
All right.
All right. I'm guessing all blue, blue tops, blue pants, gold helmets with cat script.
All blue everything?
The blue pants, blue uniforms.
Not blue helmets.
Whoa.
With cat script.
Blue pants, gold tops.
I love a head to toe same color thing.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I like it. Blue helmet, blue uniform, blue pants, blue everywhere.
Last time we debuted a blue helmet, we lost on a Cat Grizz game.
Kicked.
Yeah. I remember that.
What, 2010?
Oh, somewhere in there. It was.
That's forever ago.
Yeah.
2010.
That's Rob Ash.
That was 2011, I think. A Rob Ash.
Was that when we were number 1?
Yes.
Yeah, they came in and smoked us.
Way to end it on a sour note.
Whew. Until we smoke them this week.
They were stealing our signs at that game. They had something. I watched it the whole game. I was like,
game.
It did.
Yeah.
Or is that the 2012 game? They vacated one of them.
No, 2011. So that game never really happened.
Yeah.
So there we go. There's a high note.
Yeah.
We're talking about something that didn't actually happen. Yeah. They sold or they gave hot dogs to kids, or I don't know.
They did what is now legal in 2024.
Yeah, they did the most minor thing possible on the grand scheme of things. But they lost an entire season's worth of games for it. Cheaters.
Cheaters.
All right. Interact with us on social media, I'd say this week, especially Twitter. I'll be active. Send your memories in, send pictures. Love seeing that stuff. Love seeing
What's your handle?
up. Mine, I think it's just at Zach Levere. Let me check.
Ours is our CatCast.
Yeah, at Zach Levere on Twitter and R&R CatCast. I'll see it that way too. Just send your stuff in. We'll interact with you all week.
It's gonna be a fun week. It's gonna be a long week and a short week and a crazy week and an exciting week and a sad week and a happy week. Also,
if you have Brawl of the Wild memes, please send them because I've seen some already and they are fantastic.
I've seen some too on the
they've been great.
Nation's Facebook page, so people have been rocking them on there. I'm like,
I'll give you a like and a repost if you send me some memes.
All right, any closing thoughts, gentlemen?
We didn't go for 3 hours and 40 minutes.
No, I don't see how. I don't see how.
I don't see how you can do that. How?
I still think this is probably the longest CatCast episode ever.
Yeah, we're an hour 30 here. We're pushing it, man.
Yeah,
pushing it, and I'm feeling it.
Yeah, new territory. All right, let's get out of here, Thorny.
Let's get out of here. Thanks again to everyone for finding our little podcast here. We appreciate it. You can find us on the web, rrcatcast.com. You can find us on Twitter. Please interact with us this week. It'll be fun. rrcatcast on all the socials. Let's get out here with the big old FTG Go Cats.
FTG Go Cats.
Go Cats.